sorry, ये लो, आ जाओ.
Yes.
You're the talent, okay?
Of course.
So, सबको नाम बता दो.
Veer.
आप क्या करते हो वीर?
I'm a music composer, producer, mix engineer.
आप मुझे कितने साल से जानते हो?
मैं आपको कितने साल से जानता हूँ?
हाँ.
2-3 साल से from the time I
बस. From the time you've come.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So thank you for being here. You're
Thank
the
you.
talent, okay?
Yes.
And Akanksha here is the talent manager.
Okay.
You are hoping to engage her to represent you as your manager going forward.
कर
Okay,
लो,
तो हम
पिछले
ये
2 साल से ट्राई कर रहा हूँ.
तो आज कर ही देते हैं, okay?
Right.
So we'll try and negotiate this agreement.
Right.
I will try and do my best to
Yes.
represent you.
For sure.
Okay. Again, talent management, very, very popular. Everybody is getting representation these days. I know in our country we sort of interchangeably use the word agent and manager. So for the purpose of this example, we're going to stick to calling it a talent management agreement. Let's begin with what is the most important thing that we should be looking out for in a talent management contract. So it says that the artist agrees that the agency will exclusively market and promote the artist, okay, for a period of 4 years throughout the territory of the world. Throughout the territory of the world for a period of 4 years, with the understanding that the first 2 years is a lock-in period, okay?
Okay.
And after this, after the 4 years, it will automatically renew for another 4 years.
Right.
So it says that she's going to exclusively represent you
Okay.
throughout the world.
Right.
Okay, for 4 years, 2 years is a lock-in, which means in these 2 years you
can't go to any other artist manager.
Correct. You
Correct.
cannot terminate it.
Correct.
And after 4 years, if you don't terminate it, then it will automatically renew for another 4 years.
Like an auto pay debit card.
Yes.
Yes.
Any problems, any questions, anything you want to push back on?
Okay, so it's saying that lock-in period 2 years, and after that, what happens in the next 2 years after the lock-in period gets over?
So we may negotiate with her and say that, look, after 2 years, then if I still want to get out, then let's give each other notice and part ways.
Right,
That's what
I think that actually makes sense. See, because once you are in the lock-in period for 2 years, so that is like a trial and error kind of thing. You know, artist manager के साथ जम रहा है, नहीं जम रहा है, because that doesn't happen overnight. But in these 2 years lock-in period, if you feel that you're not getting the satisfaction of the artist manager and she or he is not promoting you in the way you intended it to, then the artist should have the right to tell the manager, okay, you know, it's not working out, and like.
And likewise, yeah, what if she feels that, listen, you're just being.
Fair enough, high five.
Okay. Does anyone have any other concerns, questions to add over here with the term you wanted to say something?
When it renews, so we will have 2 years of lock-in period again, right?
Yes. No, you need not have the lock-in period again. The lock-in is usually just for the initial term. You could push back and say, no, then for the next 4 years, I don't want any lock-in. You just extend and you negotiate a termination provision. So, things to look out for. Now, first of all, this is not a market standard. This is an example. Not every artist management contract is for 4 years with a 2 years lock-in. We've just used it as a pure example in this case. All of this is negotiable. So feel free to push back. You could say that, hey, I don't want a lock-in period. I don't care about this, right? I just want to be with you. If we're not happy, either one of us can give each other notice and terminate. You don't need to agree to a 4-year term. Someone might want it for 2 years. Someone might want it for 1 year. So this is not set in stone. There is no law which says that a management contract has to be for 4 years, 1 year, 2 years. It is entirely up to the comfort that you feel with a potential manager. How long do you think you want each to work with each other, figure out if it's a compatible relationship or not, does it work for you, does it work for the manager, and then take a call. Now, I'll come to even the territory of the world. Again, it is not an industry standard. I might tell Akanksha that, hey, listen, I know you're great in India, but you know, I'm a diaspora artist, you don't have the sort of reach in Canada and UK, US, I might want to work with somebody else there. So you're more than entitled to push back on the territory as well and limit it to India, limit it to the Indian subcontinent, some other territories, or leave it as world. She might find other experts that she wants to collaborate with and say, hey, listen, so long as I cover it, how does it matter? I'll make sure that I work with partners in different territories and get you the support you need, but let me still be the lead contact as far as doing this is concerned, which is also a fair ask, okay? But most Akanksha, is there anything else that you want to point out?
I think largely it's this
Okay.
in terms of representation.
So let's look at the next term. Now, what are we identifying? Manager karega kya? Right? We all forget this. We are all so enthusiastic about going and finding a manager or an agent to represent us, and we have this loose expectation, and then everything goes south. And we say, ki, oh, but they didn't do what they were supposed to do. And I often ask clients, but what were they supposed to do for you? Oh, they should have gotten me, these many brand days, these many live shows, and मेरा revenue नहीं बढ़ा, मुझे तो playback opportunity चाहिए थी, कुछ हुआ नहीं. But ये लिखा कहाँ है? हमने discuss कहाँ किया? Right? So which is why if you are engaging somebody, identify what is it that you want that manager to do for you. And again, it can be, some of it is tangible, some of it is intangible, right? अगर आपको और opportunity चाहिए, fine, it's slightly subjective. सारी चीजें मेरे manager के हाथ में नहीं हो सकती. It also depends on me as talent, but at least call it out and say कि भाई आपकी जिम्मेदारी है कि आप मेरे लिए at least shows के लिए pitch करें. You talk to brands. Don't, sometimes you might have a big roster of talent. How will you prioritize me? Whatever are your concerns, because what happens is when you want to get out of a management contract and you're trying to make out that hey, they didn't do something, there is nothing to demonstrate breach. How do I show failure on the part of the manager? So it can't happen till you don't identify what that person is supposed to do for you, right? Now again, in this case, what all would you like Akanksha to do for you?
I cannot read.
Okay, but you tell me, if you wanted her as your manager, what all is your expectation from her?
So, of course, as you had said, she should be getting a lot of gigs.
Okay.
As
So
far-
manage you for life?
Yeah, manage live as well, as far as, and even for the studio, basically like studio record deals and all.
Okay.
And of course, brand deals.
Okay.
And that's about it. Because I wouldn't want to pressure the manager so much with 100 things that the 3 most important things that I'm looking forward to, she cannot do.
Fair enough.
That is one.
So to
And
simplify, sorry.
the second thing is of course, once she gets me brand deals and she gets me record deals in the studio, she gets me live shows. So her also commission from me as an artist is also going up.
Fair
So
enough.
why would you want to put a person in a spot of making her do 100 things when she can do the best top 3 things for you that will actually boost your career only?
भगवान सबको ऐसा आर्टिस्ट वेरी गुड. ओके, सो ब्रांड डील्स, लाइव शोज, इन दोनों को तो देना ही देना है, ठीक है. So in the scope of her mandate, we're telling the manager that hey, I want you to exclusively represent me as far as branded deals are concerned, as far as my live shows are concerned. Let's say getting me opportunities for my music to be placed in web series, OTT shows, things like that, right? So your music can get discovered. Okay, is there anything else that you want to carve out?
Anything else that I would want to carve out?
You're okay for her to represent you exclusively?
Yes, as long as, again, as you said, if she has a strong hold in, let's say, Bombay, she represents me in Bombay, and if she has, let's say, if you are one of the representatives in the US
Right.
who she is working with,
Okay.
so then she can tell you to represent that she's the main lead, she's the main star in the front,
Right.
but overseas, since you have a stronger hold, you represent me over there on her behalf.
Okay, fine. I'm going to try my luck and push back on something. Let's see if she buys it. Okay.
For sure.
Akanksha, why do you want him to be exclusively with you? Look, he's a growing talent. I don't think I can restrict him. I want him to have the ability to talk to multiple people. Tomorrow, if a production house approaches him directly, he should have the flexibility to take it up. He may want to work, like he's saying, in some other territories. If somebody is more strong in the live circuit and wants to bring him stuff, I don't see why I should just put all my eggs in one basket with you and give you full exclusive control of my talent.
Look, I think for that there are 2 points that we need to remember over here on both Veera and Priyanka.
Okay.
I'm not just getting you these deals, right? I'm also servicing these deals. I'm going to be negotiating your fees. I'm going to be negotiating the days that you're going to be working on. I'm going to be coordinating with this production house. All of that's going to be done by me. It's something that's going to be taken off your shoulders. Now, if someone were to approach you and you're doing this directly, you're going to have to do the work along with all of this administration and commercial things that I will take care of.
Correct.
Right? Now, in terms of working with other people, that's only going to confuse the market in terms of who to approach. They're going to approach multiple different people, different people are going to come approach you. It's going to cause confusion and may just cause people not to reach out altogether because they're not sure who's the correct manager. But what I can offer you when you're exclusively with me is that I will take care of all of this. I will offer all these services and you will exclusively be with me.
Okay, so I have one question for you. Suppose if ma'am is an entity in the US, she is offering me a deal of $5,000 million for a song. Okay? And she approaches you as like she had said you would have to get in touch with her. Suppose if you feel कि नहीं, this brand deal is not good for him, but I would want to do it. But if you are saying कि नहीं ये आपके लिए अच्छा नहीं है, so in that kind of case, why would I want to ask you? Like if she's giving me that kind of deal.
So this is an important point, and that's why we come to it even in the end in the summary that you should have a say in the work that you're
Exactly.
saying yes and no to.
Yes.
So that's a very important point you've raised, and you should mention it in your agreement.
Yes.
Okay? Fine. Now let's look at, if we're giving her exclusivity, let's see what are the terms. How much is it going to cost us?
Okay.
Okay, sorry, मैं एक चीज भूल गई. I personally feel right कि हमको already studio के काम के लिए बहुत सारी inquiry सामने से आ रही है.
Correct.
You are doing good work. Okay, so I think even if she has exclusivity for
Right.
your brands, live, everything else,
Right.
as far as anything to do with you stepping into a studio is concerned,
Right.
let's keep that with us.
Okay.
We don't need her for that.
Right.
Yeah, Akanksha, is that okay with you? We let you have everything, so it's pretty much 360. But look, he already has so many relationships. He knows a lot of filmmakers. He knows a lot of production houses. There's so much work that's already incoming. I don't want to disturb that. I want him to run that as is. So we feel that take everything else because really that's the revenue generator, right? I don't think you're going to miss out much by tapping into his services as a singer or when he's stepping into a studio. So if you can just carve that out, then we're all good with your exclusivity.
Yeah, I think that sounds fair as long as, of course, you keep in mind that I'm also not going to be rendering my services or servicing any of these deals.
That's fine, right?
That's fine.
Okay, so to give everyone a practical example, this happens all the time. Again, when it comes to exclusivity, you can decide what you आपको क्या चीज़ carve out करनी है. अगर आपको लग रहा है कि कोई चीज़ों में मेरे पास already बहुत सारा incoming काम है, I don't want you to do it, that's fine. As a manager, you may choose to service it or not service it, right? You might say कि okay, out of a relationship मैं कर लूँगा, but I won't charge commission on this. Or you may say that look, I'm anyway not making commission on this, so I don't have the bandwidth to then sit and coordinate all of this. So that's a matter of a commercial give and take between the manager and the talent. Okay, let's look at the next one. So you've done, okay, now let's see commission. 50%. So it says you are going to pay commission. Okay, equivalent to 50% of the gross income that is generated.
Right.
So, and gross income means any and all amounts that are received by you
Right.
for all of the work that you do, services that you deliver.
Right.
What do we feel? Any thoughts?
Okay,
Audience
great.
ko
So
pooch
let me
lete hain.
understand.
Let
This
the audience
50% of the commission, so as in she would be taking 50% of commission for managing
You.
Okay.
What do we feel?
This gross income means without deducting expenses
Without deducting
and
tax.
Yes.
Oh,
It's pretty
Yes.
gross.
that sounds like
It's pretty gross.
Pretty gross. Okay.
Yes,
deal कर लेते हैं 85-15.
Yeah, so exactly. So it should be like 15%, but of net income generated by the artist. So like deducting the expenses incurred.
15% क्यों इतना specific number?
Because like the standard is 15 to 20 or 10 to 20 is the standard.
Correct.
Okay. Any other thoughts?
Yeah, let's do a work for hire. I pay you one time every month.
Okay, so you're all right in raising this. Again, there isn't really an industry standard, like nobody's mandated 50 or 5 or 10 or 20. It is a commercial negotiation, so please push back on whatever you feel is comfortable. The other thing is that, and Akanksha, we do feel 50% is too steep. I know you're fantastic, but it's a lot and he's still growing. I don't think we can afford this. The other request I would have is, and again I'm saying this just generally to consider it, I know a lot of times the request is that calculate the commission on the net income and not the gross income. It purely depends on where you are, at what stage in your career, how your deals are being negotiated. कभी-कभी हम जब live negotiations करते हैं for your live gigs, right? तो आपके gig का cost है, which has cost of your band members, your travel, etc., etc. You might say, look, all of this, let that get deducted and then charge me commission on what is actually left with us, which is a fair ask. Or in a lot of cases, generally, as you grow in your career, it's going to be on gross. It gets very difficult to do it on net because how do I even hold somebody accountable? Then, what deductions are fair, not fair? Kitna kharcha actually hua hai, nahi hua hai? So to keep things balanced, again, it's a commercial negotiation. It might change. Today you could do it on net. In the future, it might, just be on gross income. So again, there is no right or wrong. It's a matter of pure negotiation.
I have one really interesting idea. So let's say if she's managing me for a live show and I charge like let's say 10 lakhs for a song.
Yeah.
Okay, so I get that money that is being paid to me and whatever royalties come from the live show that I can ask Amit Dubey from IPRS. वहाँ से I give her commission from the royalties and not from my 10 lakhs.
You don't need me, I'm a better. I like that. Akanksha, what's our final position on commission?
I think
मुझे अच्छा लगा, you're
manage me
fantastic.
anymore.
हम सब managers को ये बोलते हैं. What's our final position, Akanksha?
I think the best that I'm willing to go down to is 20%,
But on gross, कर ले.
but on gross.
Royalties.
हमको तो मिले पहले, फिर उसको देंगे. I will come to the royalties with touchy topic, but I'll address that. Okay, so this is what we're settling at, 20%. Anything else, Akanksha, in this document that we need to look at?
I think as long as we're good on it being on gross income and we can agree on a percentage, I think in terms of commission we're good to go.
Okay, cool.
Okay. Great.
नहीं, she's not done. उसको और भी चाहिए. Sunset clause. What's a
What is this?
sunset clause?
What is
सुना है किसी ने sunset clause? Never paid the price for a sunset clause. Yes. Someone wants to tell me what a sunset clause is, and then we'll let the expert tell us.
That even after you leave, you leave her as a manager, she has all the say and she takes money from your earnings.
Akanksha, isn't that too much?
No. I lawyer, I object.
अरे जज बोलता है. नहीं, lawyer नहीं बोलेगा. Okay, say it. Akanksha, what is a sunset clause? What does this mean? We don't understand it.
Right, so you're not too far off, but now as the manager, I've put in all this work to get you these deals, right?
Correct.
I've done the servicing, I've gotten you, I've gone and gone out there, worked, tried and gotten these deals for you. For whatever reason our engagement or our association ends, the fact of the matter is I've still gotten you those deals. So now if it's still continuing after the term of our talent management agreement has ended, or it's been renewed or extended, it's still based off the hard work that I've put in. So I think that as a manager, I would still be entitled to receive the commission that I was getting under the agreement itself.
So I'll give you an example, right? Let's say today, once we sign this contract, she negotiates with All About Music that you're going to be the brand ambassador for All About Music. Her point is that 2 years from now, जब ये lock-in खत्म हो जाएगा, and you say, listen, I want to part ways with you. Okay, but All About Music continues to renew your brand ambassador contract year on year.
Correct.
Her position is that I got you this deal.
Right.
Today, even if you terminate me in the future, but you're benefiting from that renewal,
Correct.
I should keep getting some sort of commission from it.
Interesting. But I disagree with that point.
Okay, why?
Because I will tell you why. ठीक है, आपने मेरे लिए deal लेके आए, very good stuff. But on the other hand, it is also because of me
that they're
that
winning.
you're getting commission in business.
Yeah, so that's why she wants the commission, no?
No, but what I'm trying to say is that if our association for whatever reason ends, then I don't think that it would be right for her to take commission, because that commission can go to somebody else maybe who will do a better job in the future.
Could be.
So
That project came from her. How
Sorry?
Thank you.
That's
Yeah, but she also needs someone advocating for her.
The project came to you from her, so it absolutely should go to her.
Okay, Akanksha, is there some sort of middle ground we can arrive at on this? Look, I appreciate the effort you've been making
Correct.
for him, and we want you to feel incentivized. What is the best we can do with this?
I hear you, and I think what we can do is sort of have a decreasing commission as the years go by for a period of 4 years. So I have a clause on screen for you, and
So it's not forever. And again, this is a structure, right? You can try and play around with the numbers, you can play around with the term, but usually even in most cases, when a management contract ends, for a certain period, your previous management may want to still continue charging commission on deals that they originally brought to you and that get renewed. You could push, limit it by a certain number of years. Say that, okay, for up to 2 years after termination, 3 years after termination, or only for 1 year after termination, and then I'll keep giving you a percentage. Now that percentage could be the same commission rate you had, it could be lesser and lesser as time goes on. It's purely a matter of commercial give and take, okay?
Right.
Because you're also conscious that once you terminate her services, there will also be a new management that comes in, right? So
Correct.
आपको उनको भी देना है,
Correct.
plus इनको कुछ देना है.
Correct.
But to what ma'am said, she's right. She did get you the deal in
Yes.
the first place to begin with. So if she feels that, listen, if it gets renewed, I do want to have some
Right.
portion in it.
Right. So what I was actually coming to that point only. So let's say we had said 20%. So now after the contract ends, let's
Yeah.
say sort of 20, like we drop down to 15, then 10, then, and it's gradually over the course of 1-2 years, how many ever we have decided, like we ended in that way. So it's not completely stuck still at 20, even though the artist might not want to give that kind of commission that way.
Sorry, so you're saying that it should be lesser than.
So I'm saying, let's say now if we did 20,
हाँ.
और contract 2 साल में खत्म हो गया.
हाँ.
So if we're giving 20 for the next 1 year, or how many ever decided, we slowly, gradually, like how you.
So we've decreased it.
Yeah,
I've said
decrease it.
15 and then 10.
Yes, 15,
Okay.
10, 5, and then 0.
Done. Alright. Thank you, Veer.
Thank
You've
you.
been amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank
So
you.
I am going to summarize this quickly for everybody because we're running out of time.